Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're gonna pot up, which is basically the same day that I did the tomato video. That's why I'm wearing the same outfit, but I'm making a separate video because it was getting too long. And anyhow, so whenever you are going to pot up from your started trays, which let me just show you the started tray right now of my pepper plants. This is what it looks like. Look at all those peppers. Now, for some reason, some of these do not have their true leaves yet. And what does that mean? Okay, let me show you. This is a Pippin's Golden Honey pepper plant that I already potted up. These leaves here on the side, now granted, this is a different color because this is a different type of plant, or these leaves are called the cotyledons. They're like baby leaves. When you go to pot up, you want to wait until the plant gets its true leaves, which are these. So you want to basically have 4 leaves on the plant before you take them out of their little the seedling tray and put them into a bigger pot. So these are 2.5-inch pots from Bootstrap Farmer. This is the first year that I'm using them. However, I had bought 2.5-inch cups from Amazon, real cheap before, and have used those. They didn't last me they lasted me 2 seasons. I'm hoping these will last me longer, which is why I invested in this. But if you don't have a whole lot of money, that's one way to go. And another way to go is to use red solo cups to pot your plants up into. These are great because they're nice and deep. Also, you can buy a whole lot fairly cheaply, even at you can get them at like Sam's Club fairly cheaply. You can get them probably even at the Dollar Tree. One way that I used them last year was we have a lot of people in for a small group. We have like people from the church that come in, and we have meals and stuff. So I had people save their cups, ran them through the dishwasher, and then I used them to either pot up or start seeds in. So this is one way to do it. There's lots of other ways to start seeds, but if you're looking for a bigger container to come from your seedling tray up, this is an option. That you don't have to invest a ton of money into things to do it. All right, so basically what I'm going to show you is what I do. Let me see if I can get the camera. I'll move the camera down. All right, so over here, I have my cups, and I actually am using potting mix. I'm using Miracle Grow. I know there are a lot of gardeners that would not use this, and that's fine. I can get this at a fairly decent price at Sam's Club, and so that's what I have done, and that's what I have on hand. So what I do is I just go in and I put a little bit of soil in, and then I like to use a starter transplanting fertilizer. This is the only time I actually really use fertilizer. This is natural and organic from Burpee, and it's just a granular plant food that's 364. And I just take just a little bit in my hand and I plop it in here and I just kind of mix it around. And then what I do is, let's see if we can get the camera back over here. I take my seed starters, and now I'm kind of like looking through for the peppers that have really put off true leaves. So I'm going to leave this go because this one doesn't have all of its true leaves just yet. But these two do. I'm going to go ahead and pop this out. That's one of the nice things about this tray is this little thing. I grab my peppers like this and I pull them out. And here I'm just going to lay it down. All right, now let me see. I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm going to do here. Now, I know that this is a Sugar Rush Peach And I'm going to take this and kind of just nice and gently pull apart the soil, the coco coir. And then once I get the weight of that off of these roots, because you want to be real gentle, I'll tease them out. There we go. And then there we go. So I have the two plants. So what I'll do is I'll take this plant and I'm gonna stick it right in here. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna backfill with some of the soil that's over here. And I know you can't see this, but I'm literally just taking it and I'm just kind of tightly, just loosely sticking it in there while I'm holding the pepper plant. You want to be as gentle as possible, but I mean, don't be afraid to hold on to it. Don't be a wuss, okay? Like you gotta show it who's boss. So as you can see, I just kind of put it in there. You want to make sure that these leaves are above the soil. And then I kind of tamp down the soil just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my markers, and I already have these marked out for Pippin's Golden Honey. And I'll take one of my markers and I'll write Peach Rush on it, and I'll stick it in there so it doesn't get Peach Rush. Stick it. Now I was just thinking as I'm doing this, I had said that I don't use any other fertilizer. That is actually not true. I use fish emulsion when I work with the plants outside, hardening them off. Whenever it starts to get to be close to when we want to plant them, we want to take them out and let them be in the sun and in the wind for a little bit to get it acclimated to being outside. If you take your plants that have just been tender little plants inside with no elements and just some lights, you put them outside in the elements, they are going to freak out. Don't do that. You got to harden them off. So you got to take them outside for a little bit. Let them sit in the sunshine. Let them get used to the sun. Let them get used to the wind. Bring them back inside. You don't want to leave them outside. You don't want to leave them without some type of protection. You want to do this slowly. Like, you don't want to just throw them in the deep end, because that will kill them. So when I'm hardening off my seedlings, a lot of the time I will take them outside and they will all be in a tray like this. And that's when I use fish emulsion. I use a tablespoon basically to a tray, and I fill water in that tablespoon and I let them sit. Fish emulsion stinks because it's fish. It's disgustingly dirty, smelly. It makes everything smell. You don't want to do that inside if you can help it. So I usually do it outside, let them sit and soak, and then if I feel like it's been a long enough time, I'll dump out that fish emulsion and bring it in. A lot of the times I wait until the plants don't really have to come back inside to do that because I don't want to smell it. Who wants to smell that? So anyway, so I have this Sugar Rush Peach, and did I write Peach Rush? Peach Rush. Okay. Apparently I don't know how to write. I don't know what that is. So I have all sorts of different colors of these. Some people do it so they can color code. I honestly just want the pretty colors. I'm not color coding anything. I'm not color coding any of the tags. Usually I've gotten pretty good anymore. I can tell what's what from now. So I don't normally need to color code. I can tell you what it is. So potting up is really, really easy. If you do it with a tray like this, and you can use a tray that like even your seedlings were sitting in, or your seed starters were sitting in, if that makes sense. The tray that this thing sits in, I don't have a dry one. I have a wet one. It has water. You can even use this to put stuff in. But I bottom water these too still. Now you can top water, it's fine, but I prefer to bottom water because if you top water, you run the risk of splashback and causing fungus on your leaves. Some people say that that's not that big of a deal and that the plants need to get used to being wet like that. That's fine. This is, I mean, you can do what you want, but this is what has worked for me, and I'm just sharing what's worked for me. So potting up, this goes the same. You can do this with your tomatoes. You can do this. I did this with herbs over the weekend. That's why there's stuff in here. There's also some cabbage, which that's just an experiment. Gardening is a lot of experiments. If you haven't figured that out yet, it's a lot of experiments. A lot of times things look like they're successful because you don't see the stuff that dies. So I think that's why I'm a successful gardener, is because I am like covering all of my bases, and you don't see the ones that just don't make it because I've planted a lot of seeds. So that's kind of like, I'm sure you've heard the get to know, you know, where like you ask people, this is big in the multi-level marketing, where people talk about, you know, you want to get to know, you want to keep getting to know to get to the yes. You want to keep getting no's so you can get to the yes. Well, it's kind of the same thing in gardening. You plant a lot of seeds. Not all of them are going to make it, but when some of them do, you have success. So that's just my little tidbit for the day. Okay, so get your seeds started. If you already got them started and you've got some seedlings like this, you get them potted up, and you basically, this is what it's going to grow in until you get to the ground. So this is exciting. This is an exciting step. Very exciting step. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful for you all. And if you would please like and share so that other people can learn more, that would be really helpful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.